Joining me now is Kurt Bardella, the brightest voice in country music in Washington, D.C., and an advisor to the DNC and the DCCC. Kurt, thanks so much for joining me tonight. Look, we've talked plenty of times about the sort of cult-like nature of the Republican Party. That's not new. That's not rocket science. But what I do think is interesting is this. What I've seen polling-wise is that since the overturning of Roe, the congressional ballot has actually improved for Democrats, even as Biden's numbers have gone down. Do you think this new push in the right-wing ecosphere, oh my gosh, we're about to be cheated, is because Republicans are thinking maybe this fall is not completely in the bag? Because this seems to be new rhetoric that they're pushing even stronger since the overturning of Roe.
Yeah, Jason, here we go. It's the greatest hits on replay. This is what they do when Republicans are in trouble, when Republicans sense danger, when Republicans sense political fallout, they go back to the greatest hits. They go back to these egregious, ridiculous, debunked lies about the election. It's really absurdity bathed in hypocrisy because, as we know, they are the ones who cheat. They're the ones who have used the instruments of power to try to suppress people from participating in the democratic process. They're the ones who know that when all things are equal and the playing field is level, that they lose elections. That's why they've tried to change all the voting laws in America. 2020 was the most free and fair and accurate election that we've ever had. When you look at how it's been litigated, how it's been recounted, how certain states had this recount over and over and over again, it is the most verified election we've ever had. And yet Republicans saw fit to try to rewrite all the voting laws in America. Why? Because they know that they're going to lose if they keep going down this path. And if they don't suppress the vote, they have no chance.
So if they're in the middle of this sort of suppression idea, you've got a new poll coming out. 65% of Republicans think there was widespread voter fraud. They're convinced that, there's a scam. That's the only way Joe Biden got in. I've always kind of wondered if part of your messaging to your own base is the whole process is rigged. How the heck do you then translate that into people bothering to vote? Because, overall, if you keep telling me, hey, man, no matter how much you go to the gym, you're still going to be fat. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not going to Crunch Fitness anymore. When do you think Republicans, it's just not working for me. When do you think Republicans will get it in their head that debunking the system could have an impact on the margins for people actually turning out to vote for them?
I mean, you would think that after what happened in the Georgia special election, where railing against the fairness and the election integrity wasn't really a winner for them and cost them potentially those 2 seats, that they would learn the lesson. But again, this is the gospel of idiocy with the apostles of stupid following it and keep repeating these same mistakes over and over and over again. And you're right. At the end of the day, when we come to Election Day in November 2022, if turnout in the Republican areas isn't what the pollsters think it should be, look back at this as the reason.
Last quick thing, Kurt, I got to ask you this. As you've seen some of these primaries come out and sometimes far-right MAGA Republicans are losing to just mainstream terrorists supporting Republicans, they're saying, hey, look, I don't trust the election process. Do you think we could see splits down the line in the midterms that could lead to lower Republican turnout? Do you think hard-right MAGA people may say, hey, if my election-denying person isn't the candidate, I'm not going to vote? You think that's a possibility?
Oh, I think it absolutely is. Again, we've seen some of this happen already in previous elections. And this has been the great concern that Republican leaders like Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell probably have, that they're going to basically talk themselves out of a win by running these extremists, these out of touch with the mainstream Americans who want to do things that are just so far outside of where most voters are and where common sense is, that there's just no way they're going to be able to cobble together the votes to win. It's going to cost them. And they're going to be people who may not want to vote for a Democrat, but they're not going to vote for these people either. And they're just going to not vote.
Yeah. Dr. Oz and Herschel Walker. Kurt Bardella, thanks so much for joining us tonight on The Beat.